My name is Antonia Forster, and I'm the Senior XR Technical Specialist at Unity. Remember the next question?
Yeah, how did you get into technology?
So I got into technology in a very strange way. I don't have a computer science background at all. My background is actually zoology and animal behavior. So I used to work in zoos, the person who says, these are the penguins, here are some fun facts. That was my job for a while. And I used to teach people about conservation. I actually gave a TED talk on LGBT in the animal kingdom and why that's completely natural, even though people might say it's not. And as a result of that, unfortunately, I had a lot of personal difficulties. My family responded really badly. I ended up in financial difficulty. And so as a result, I had to change career to something that I could kind of support myself single-handedly. So I taught myself to be an engineer. I used YouTube to teach myself to code. I learned Unity and C#, and I became a professional VR developer. So that's how I ended up in tech.
Thank you so much for sharing this.
You can go, don't worry. Okay, how can I start through people's slides? So,
yes.
I was waiting for the door to close. So I really believe that both VR and AR can dramatically change people's lives, because for me, it's like sorcery. You can conjure anything that you can imagine, and you don't need any physical materials to do it. You just need a headset and some YouTube tutorials. So, for example, last year I was reflecting on my experience as a queer woman, and I wanted to go to a physical museum of queer stories so I could be surrounded by other LGBT people's experiences and feel a sense of belonging and solidarity. And I looked online, and there was no physical LGBT museum in the whole of the UK, which is where I live. So I wanted to build one, but I didn't have the money, I didn't have a building, I didn't have any staff or resources or things to put in the museum. So I decided to do it in virtual reality. So I did end up creating the world's first virtual reality LGBT museum, which has scans of real objects belonging to queer people, as well as their audio stories explaining what that object means to them, whether it's a pair of wedding shoes, a teddy bear, a nail polish, a dress, or a karaoke microphone. So that's just one example of how we can use VR and AR to amplify people's stories, especially the voices that maybe aren't represented equally in society. And then last one, what advice would I have for young women today? I would urge you, if you have any interest in problem solving or puzzles or experimenting or creating things like art or music, then definitely try getting into VR and AR or into coding. Because first of all, it's essentially a magical power where you can just create anything that you can imagine. And secondly, it's really hireable. The advice I would give is that you shouldn't be intimidated. A lot of people told me at first, oh, code, you don't have to code to get into VR or AR. And that is true, you don't have to code to be a VR or AR developer. But also, coding isn't as hard as you might think it is. People see brackets and equal signs, and they think it's like maths, like you're balancing equations. But it's not like that. It's a language like German or Spanish. It's just that an equal sign is the word for is, for example. So you're just learning a language, but it's the language of computers. It's the most widely spoken language ever. And once you can speak to them, you can make them do anything you want, which is incredible. So I would really urge you to look into it, play around. For me personally as well, I really love using Unity, which is where I now work. But I tried coding, just putting code in and getting code out of a terminal. So just using just purely code. And I couldn't really understand it very well. I'm a very visual person. Unity is a game engine which has a big visual window, so you can put a scene. It's a little bit like The Sims. You can build a city, put shapes and do things. And then the code helps to move things around or add interactions. So for me, once I started learning Unity, that's what made the code make sense. I could add a tree, a building, a person, and then I could add code to make them do stuff. So maybe that would help you. I don't know. Everyone learns differently. My advice is to keep trying and not be intimidated. Just give it a go.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you
so much,
that was really
Antonia.
long.
It was just so incredible. Thank you for sharing your truth, your story, your journey, and thank you so much for being a sponsor with Unity.
Thank you.
At the MIT Reality Hack.
Thank you.
You are a Reality Hack women and plus, and they and us.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you
for sharing.
Thank you.